Hi, everyone. Every week in the Wellness Ambassador program that I'm offering via the Ancient Way, we have a special word of the week that we focus on for our journey in wellness for the week ahead. The word for this week was karma. Karma means action, and actions that we take really impact and influence the whole course and direction of our entire life. It is said in the Upanishads that our thoughts become our actions become our habits become our character, and our character becomes our destiny. So thoughts are really the translation, or sorry, actions are really the translation of thoughts into manifestation or practice. It's really interesting because in the Bhagavad Gita, we learn that a perfect action is one that should generate energy for you and not dissipate your energy through three dissipating factors. One dissipating factor is when you act with worries of the past, when you have some attachment to the way something went in the past and you keep thinking about it and you keep replaying it. Whenever we cling too much to the past, we actually have trouble even acting in the first place. When we are having our minds dwelling too much on the past, we're unable to really have our full power and our full presence with us to be able to act in a way that is really going to be of service to the greatest good of all. Another factor that is really dissipating to your energy are actions that are filled with hope even for the future. You know, when we get really into that wishful thinking and we're like, I just hope this happens and I hope that happens, and it's, you know, hope itself is a great thing to have. It's based in a positive framework for what you want to have in the future. But see, its very nature is future oriented. Whenever we have a hope, whenever we have a wish, it's always for something yet to come. And when we get really anxious over something yet to come, even if we call it hope, it's still a dissipating factor. That hope is just as debilitating potentially as the worries that we have of the past. Hope keeps us in the future. So we don't want to be in the past. We don't want to be dwelling in the future. We want to be in the present moment when we act to be able to generate energy. One thing, though, that the ancient texts warn us about is actually getting too excited even in the present moment. We want to be really, really careful that when things are going well, or when we feel happy, or when things have maybe gone the way we would have wanted them to go, that we don't get too caught up in the fever or excitement of our happiness. Because in that excitement, we develop another desire and another craving for more. We learn in Vedanta that desire management and lessening the quantity and increasing the quality of our desires is the key to our spiritual growth. Therefore, all of these guidelines are really there to help us keep our desires in check and to help us really act in a balanced way that is free of worries about the past or attachment or clinging to the past and things that happened in the story from the past. Actions that are free of obsessive concern or hope over what's going to happen in the future, and even actions that are free from too much excitement and too much of even joy in the present moment. Any time we experience a lot of joy, especially when it's due to an external cause, it is always having sorrow waiting in the background. Therefore, when we talk about what we want to develop on the spiritual journey to really support us in terms of blossoming into wellness in our lives, it's really about a kind of joy that has no opposite. And this is really equanimity amidst the ups and downs of life. In Sanskrit, there is also a beautiful term called ananda. And ananda, joy without the opposite of sorrow, comes from that which is ananta, which means eternal or without end. When we really are able to fixate our attention upon that which is eternal, that which has no beginning and no end, we're able to really come into a connection with the present moment. When we truly understand the nature of the soul, then it is described in the ancient spiritual texts as being Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means truth. Chit means consciousness, and Ananda means a kind of bliss or joy that has no opposite of sorrow. This is the true bliss, the true joy, the true kind of wellness and satisfaction that we can experience whenever we're in close proximity with the power and peace and equanimity of our own soul. This is a really, really important framework to be able to apply whenever you're acting, to really be able to start to act with perfect actions which free you of desires and free you of worries and clinging to the past, of hope and anxiety for the future, and even excessive excitement that can lead to then a drop in an experience of sorrow on the other hand. We want to really act in such a way that we generate energy through our actions. It's really, really important that we do act. There is no such thing as inaction. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita it is said about karma yoga, the yoga of action, that we have a right to act only, and never should our attachment be to inaction. And never also should our attachment be to the outcome of what happens as a result of our action. The way to check in with ourselves when we're acting is to ask a couple of questions. Does this action come from some clinging or worry or obsession over how badly things may have gone in the past? Does this action come with a lot of desire or hope or wish for something in the future? Does this action stem from overflowing happiness and joy in the present moment that's based on something outside of my own self? If it is, then it's an opportunity to, with that inventory, check in and self-correct our actions so that they are free from the past, so that they're free from the future, and they're free from even overexcitement in the present moment. Action is very important, but we want to free ourselves of the desire that comes into our actions, and we want to free ourselves of all of the dissipating factors of actions so that they can really generate energy and propel us forward on our spiritual journey. It is really interesting because it is said that action is key to generate positive energy, to generate sattva, balance, clarity, purity, and a sense of tranquility. That's the meaning of sattva. And in that sense, the highest action is that of a warrior, because a warrior is constantly acting and acting in the present moment. And, we want to be like a spiritual warrior, even on our wellness journey, to make sure that we don't get so overwhelmed or so kind of lost in our past or in the future that we forget to act, or we don't act in accordance to what's going to help us in the present moment. This is a really, really important insight, and I wanted to share it with you as a support for you to really be able to apply any wellness practice that you are currently trying to integrate and embody in your day-to-day life. I am also so happy to share with you that we are about to begin our 4th module of the Wellness Ambassador program. We have gone through almost the first 3 modules of Ayurveda's essential principles, and now we're about to begin on Ayurveda's Summer RX, and it's a very relaxing and restorative one. Before we go into that, this weekend we're actually going to talk about what element are you? Ayurveda is made up of 5. Ayurveda's basic principles or foundational principles are made up of these 5 great elements of space, air, fire, water, and earth. When we can understand the presence and the qualities and the attributes of these 5 great elements, we have understood the building blocks basically of all matter and of all living beings on this planet, even of plants and of animals and human beings for sure. It's a fascinating understanding of the world that really shapes our understanding and our perceptions and changes the way we look at ourselves, the way we look at our health, and the way we look at the world and beings around us. So if you've ever wondered what element are you most similar to, and maybe what elements are out of balance in you, then I definitely encourage you to even drop in for this Saturday's class. We meet from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of the sessions are recorded, so if you wanted to join us now for the whole 1-year program or for the first 3 modules and catch up on what was missed in the first 3 modules, you're most welcome to do that. In about 2 or 3 weeks, we will start on the 4th module. So we'll go all into summer season lifestyle, food recommendations, and some really juicy, wonderful self-care practices that will keep you happy, healthy, rejuvenated, and energized in the hot, dry, somewhat intense summer season months. I have been really enjoying seeing all of my students blossoming by applying the practices that they're learning to their lives. We have such a wonderful community and really rich sharing every time. And every month I reassign a new community buddy so that you're able to really get to know different people in the program and be able to check in and receive support and give support so that we can really grow together, because healing happens in community, not in isolation. So really would love to welcome you to this program if it speaks to you.